Wonderful. Hi, Nancy.
Okay, we're live on YouTube as well.
Hi, David. What, Shane?
We're live on YouTube as well.
We're live on YouTube. Hi on YouTube. Come down and show your face if you're so inclined. And a good Sunday to you all. Our first Sunday. Hi, Kaisu. I want to talk about two things that are central to the path of practice. You know, as practitioners, there can't help but be the question, how do I do this right? And what will keep me going? Practice is a lifelong process. That's what gives it the most possibility to have the most fruition, that we tend to it daily. So, what does it take to give us the animation, the motivation, the love, really, to tend to practice daily? That's what I want to talk about. I can start by mentioning what are known as the three excellences, or I'm now experimenting with calling them the three hallowed ways. Basically, they're three pillars of any practice. We start with bodhicitta, with an intention to practice for the benefit of all living beings throughout space, not just the ones you know, and not just the ones you dream about or see in movies, but all beings throughout space. It takes a certain kind of opening up, a certain kind of relaxation, which is what I'm really going to talk about. And then in the second hallowed gesture, or a superb method, we lighten up our grip on things as real and overpowering and overwhelming. It also takes relaxation. In principle, we acknowledge to whatever degree we can that things are not what they seem, not as real, not as other as they seem, but more like dreams, more like illusions. And then we close by dedicating, sharing, sending out to all living beings the benefit, which may be palpable in our own energy, mind, body. The end of a session, you may feel a little different than you did at the beginning. It may be a little different. And that is also something to appreciate. It means your practice has affected you. There's been some shift, some movement, however delicate it might be. Some energy, some goodness. You share that with all living beings. So we see from this that the principles of, I'll use the word compassion in a generic sense, bodhicitta. Bodhicitta, I think everyone here knows well, is a mind heroically, courageously, valiantly, and joyfully actually oriented toward being of benefit to all living beings. And that itself is something that we cultivate again and again in this Mahayana or great vehicle path. And the second part of our session, one way or another, whether we're reflecting on preciousness of our own body or impermanence, or the way in which cause and effect, really everything happens in ordinary sense through cause and effect. Any of those meditations serve to loosen up the very typically, very, very tight, narrow, kind of small-minded focus that we have on me, me, me. Can't help it. That's how living beings are, ordinary living beings. The fifth Dalai Lama says that even in sleep, this is how deep it is, even when we're asleep, there's something deep inside going, I'm afraid, I'm scared, I'm flying, me. And that's a kind of small tightness So we can say that a fulsome objective in practice, speaking broadly now of the many types of practices, but particularly what we're familiar with through our training and conversations over time, there's the practice of cultivating attention. There's the practices associated with cultivating love, compassion, equanimity, and joy. Compassion with a big C, those practices. There are practices of wisdom. And all of them benefit crucially and significantly from our being at ease, relaxed, free of the usual frenzy, got to do this, got to do that, free also of the almost as ubiquitous background noise of, this isn't very good, that's good, this is not. Whether thinking about oneself or about others, don't like this person, want to stay away from that person, let me spend some time with this person. Who doesn't have these feelings? No blame. Do want to point out that these feelings in some ways deplete us. We may feel very energized. So how is that? In order to talk about that, I want to take as an example something I think already familiar with many of you. Cultivation of, let's call it less reactivity. Buddhists call it equanimity. What do I mean by reactivity? Well, you know already that Buddhist traditions from the very beginning until this very day speak about desire, hatred, and ignorance. Basically, a failure of knowing how things really are. And feeling that what you do know is right on the money. Those two things are ignorance. We don't know that we don't know. So when we encounter a situation, and you may have situations in mind, we could bring to mind, encountering certain types of persons. Generally speaking, there's the ones we like and we're happy to be around, the ones, we don't really know them, we're fine, if they do well, that's good. We don't have any animosity, but it's a bit of a dull situation, really. We neither care nor despise them. Just kind of, thank you very much for holding the door open. Goodbye. And of course, there are those people who really push our buttons and whom we therefore feel are not good. Not good for us to be around anyway. Not good, don't like, stay away. Does this resonate with your experience? This is not something strange, right? This is like how we are. Bugs are like this too. Animals are like this too. Mosquitoes like certain people. I guess because the blood is sweet or something like that. They have their preferences. Cats, dogs, birds, every living being has its preferences. And being an unthinking, really kind of willy-nilly rider on the wild horses of those preferences depletes us. This is tricky because it can feel very energizing. So I want to talk about that for a moment. You really don't like someone, or you really hate, as we see on TV a lot these days, they really hate a whole group of people maybe, or you're afraid of them, which is really where the hatred comes from. You don't feel comfortable. If that morphs into, and there's just kind of an automatic response of the mind turning away, the face turning away, these people, this person, this event, this task, writer's block, is really nothing but kind of a fear, at least from my own experience. I can't write because it might not be good enough, and therefore I can't write anything. Or I can't show up and talk to people because they won't like me. They might not like me. And you know what? I don't care if they don't like me because I'm better off safe at home during COVID in particular. So when someone has done wrong, there is wrongdoing. People who harm other people, harming oneself. This might really animate our sense of indignation. People who harm others, particularly. A lot of people, if you're on Twitter or any kind of social media, there are a lot of people who are really angry right now about many things that are occurring. And anger feels empowering, right? That's why people like it. That's why politicians stoke it historically and today. Is stoking anger, people get all riled up and they shout and they seem very agitated and very powerful in a certain way, certain kind of energy. You've probably been angry a time or two in the last month or so, if not the last, 3 hours, a little bit. How does that make you feel? In the moment, yes, let's all go out against so-and-so. It feels good. There's bonding. But then what? Well, I invite you to see for yourself. But I would propose that it's also a lot of work. Can't be angry all the time. If you want to fight for justice, you have to have peace in yourself. Can't be angry all the time. It's not effective. It will drain you. It will wipe you out. The Dalai Lama talks about being wisely selfish. Wise selfishness in the context that we're talking about means getting a bit free from the rush of desire, hatred, and maybe ignorance isn't a rush. It's kind of like a dull fog. Or maybe we feel there are a lot of people we're very attached to in a good way. But sometimes in a way that's also consuming of energy. We feel we have to please them. We feel we have to look good in front of them. This is true on the job in a lot of cases, right? You got to look good at work. You got to look strong. You got to look, climb and there's always a certain power structure, and one wants to be as far high up on that as possible. So that's consuming, that's stressful, that keeps us on a roller coaster of how am I doing? They're not recognizing me. That judgment thing, that treadmill of the mind going click, 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 judging, judging, judging. That is not a peaceful state. And that's why finally at the end of the day, or sometimes, we just like to hang out with people we know. We don't have to impress them. We can just relax. We say we can just be ourselves in a certain way. We don't have to work. We don't have to show them how wrong they are. We don't have to kind of exert ourselves to make a certain kind of impression. We're easy. We're comfortable. What does this have to do with bodhicitta? Well, in bodhicitta, we really commit. First of all, the first step is to have an evenness of affect with respect to everyone. It doesn't mean we don't recognize that there's wrongdoing. We do. We don't become less smart or intelligent or We remain perceptive when we cultivate this more even state. In this more even state, let's say we're more like a mirror. You know, a mirror reflects the good, bad, and the ugly. And when you look in a mirror, you see liking and not, you have liking and not liking for what you see. You know, maybe you like the way your hair looks today, maybe you don't, that kind of thing. But the mirror is the same, no matter what is reflected in it. It's true. Mirror doesn't change. In its real nature, our mind is actually like that. There is something that is continuous and radiant in our own being always. The Buddhists call it Buddha nature. Point out that everyone has it. You have it. I have it. The people we find so full of wrongdoing, perhaps rightly feeling so, they also have it. So when we begin our practice, we say something like, I am practicing so that all beings throughout space, such a lovely metaphor, personally, throughout space is already a big opening of the mind. Just to say that without any work. When you say it, all beings throughout space. Oh, so the mind is opening up in a way that it's not open when we are, this is a great person, let me see if I can be friends with them. This is a terrible person, let me stay away from them. These people, who cares, right? And also the sky is full of light, sunlight, moonlight, starlight. So as we practice, feeling something like, may everyone benefit from my practice. Ajahn Trungpa has these words. Most importantly, he encourages us to say our own words, you know, your own, whether you call it a prayer or a kind of promise, but coming from your heart in your own words. Personally, I find that's very important. I love, you know, and recite daily the various prayers that we have in our tradition, but I like to say things in my own words because that's very intimate, you know, and it's really coming from you. Not just mouthings, not just words, Jigme Lingpa says. This is how we should speak. This is what Ajahn Rinpoche says. When I am happy, not just in practice, whenever I'm happy, happiness always results from some goodness that you have done. When I am happy, I dedicate the collected wholesomeness to beings. May I fill the sky with happiness and benefit. Oh, from my practice, so you sit down for a moment to practice, may the goodness of my practice, you know, I may still be grumpy and tired and, you know, whatever it is, nonetheless, there is goodness in my sitting down with this intention. May I fill the sky with happiness and benefit. What an empowering idea. Little old me sitting in the corner, feeling grumpy and miserable and small and tight and unhappy and miserly with my time and et cetera, fill in the adjectives that apply to you on bad hair, you know, in bad hair moments. May I fill the sky with happiness and benefit. Whatever image comes to you, what does that feel like, you know? Or maybe rainbows are pouring out of you as you practice. You don't even know it. You know, and maybe light, moonlight, sunlight is just radiating to everyone. Why not? Anyway, for you to imagine it begins to unlock that tight holding to me, my, I, that song that goes day and night. Even for a moment to think, may I fill the sky with happiness and benefit? Just to be willing to, you know, entertain that is the bigness of your horizon. that's already lifting away some of the chains that keep us tight, that hold us to the tightness and automatic, I want to say automaticity, that's not a word, but, just hate, 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 desire, desire, desire. A horse comes by, your own desire, your own dislike, your own judgment, and we jump on it. That's what we do. And we want to go right there to attack the hated person. We want to go right there to capture the object of our attachment, which is different from the kind of love that we cultivate. Oh, to be free of that, let the horse run in the field. Enjoy the horse running. You fill the sky with your good intentions. Good intentions have power, and power can take form, at least in the realm of our imagination. May I fill the sky with happiness and benefit. What a great phrase. It's empowering. So I started talking earlier with a really animated question of what keeps us going? What keeps us going in practice? Day after day after day. Sometimes it's great. Sometimes it's terrible. Sometimes it's actually painful. That means maybe you're learning something about pain that you've been hiding from. Take it slow, be gentle, but it might be a positive sign. This kind of thought, may I fill the sky with happiness and benefit for all beings throughout space, is it not kind of empowering? Kind of like your heart becomes a bit unshackled and opens. Even if part of you is quacking in the back, I can't do this, I can't do this. Never mind, let it quack, can't help it. But, your intention is, oh, it's empowering, it's energizing. It actually relieves you of some of the stress of me, 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 me. So a great key to the power of this, Ajahn Rinpoche teaches, he's not the only one, but it has impacted me hearing it from him, that there are two ways to undo this tightness of me, 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 which is really the core of our suffering. We may not understand that yet, or not fully yet, but we do know that when we feel easy and relaxed, we feel a little better, don't we? We've loosened up. We've given up our chores for the day. We can just chill, as we say, or whatever we say nowadays. It heals us, actually. It heals us into a state of wholeness, to give up these big, big agendas of little me doing this and that. This is not quite like that. This is, may I fill the sky? How are you going to fill the sky? Well, by your practice, by your aspirations. Aspirations are very important for us. So just with this kind of orientation, we do what wisdom does. This is where compassion and wisdom meet, really. They are both ways to ease us from the wretched handcuffs, heart cuffs of I, me, me, me. May all beings throughout space benefit. When you do anything, when you open the car door, when you sit down to drive, may all beings benefit. I have a purpose in where I'm going, to do some kind of good, to do my job as well as I can, to see people with as open heart as I can. May there be benefit. As I drive my car, may the streams of light from my good wishes, from my sometimes exhaling, just good wishes for everyone. Exhaling good wishes for everyone means for a moment you're free of this me, 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 me. You've become larger. Your horizon of being has opened. That is tremendously encouraging and empowering. It doesn't mean there won't be trouble in life. Samsara, there'll be trouble. But your horizon doesn't have to shrink down to that particular trouble. It makes life easier. It makes life lighter. May it be so. May it be so. So may it be so. May you find your words and your way to remember that your true horizon is vast. You are not small. No one is. Whereas your mind doesn't end here or a mile away or at the end of the cosmos either. You can encompass it all in your intention. With that, may all beings benefit from our goodness in sharing these expansive aspirations together. May these aspirations settle deep into our hearts, and may we be at ease. We will take a break until 11, when we will practice being at ease. See you in 3 minutes.
I think there's someone on YouTube that has a question. They said,
Okay.
"Hi, teacher, I have a question." They haven't asked the question yet.
Okay. They haven't asked the question yet. All
Not
right.
yet. Here, it's from Nalani.
Uh-huh.
You can go ahead and ask your question.
Can we talk to people on YouTube? I didn't think we could.
They're putting in the comments.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm watching the chat. Okay, Nalani, if you write it, that would be great.
There, I put the question that she had.
Oh, is green Tara wish fulfill? I'm not sure I know what you mean, but I think the answer is yes. um, green Tara promises to, free us from all pain and suffering. That are you practicing green Tara? Are you practicing the? We have a green Tara practice. We do. I don't know if you. Anyway, the verse that we sing when we do green Tara is asking green Tara to free us from all pain and suffering, feeling that we trust green Tara to do that. So it's a practice of trust, which also means relaxation. And yes, through meeting green Tara, our wishes for happiness and our wishes for others' happiness are all fulfilled. Is that what you're asking about? we'd love to see you if you're able to come on Zoom. Otherwise, I'll look at the chat.
Is it about time for me to swap the YouTube stream over to the meditation one?
Oh, yes, you should do that. Do they know to do that from YouTube?
I'm sending a message in the YouTube chat for everybody, but
Okay.
everyone, because you can still hear me, everyone that's on YouTube right now, I'm about to swap the stream from First Sunday to meditation. So if you are watching on YouTube and you do want to continue through the meditation, make sure you do switch to that meditation stream.
How many folks are on YouTube? I know Julia went there.
There are 5 concurrent viewers, so
Okay.
I'm about to go ahead and change it now.
All right. Come on over, YouTubers. Now we're not just going to talk about relaxation. We're going to see about relaxation.